Proven Winning Overlays, video 17G. This is Tampa Bay Downs. I've highlighted the condition of T for turf. This race is run on the turf. It makes it a preferred race for us. And tell you what that is. We focus on these. You can get to this page from the Horse Racing Digest page, the free area. Click on the handicapping video link, and it takes you to the page with all the videos. And now there's like almost 400 videos on here. But right here on the right hand side is this listing that stays here all the time. It's what we consider preferred races. 90% of the value odds winners that have that icon, those winners, 90% of them come out of these races. Okay, so that's why we focus on them. Basically, you got all maiden races. First of all, that would be maiden claiming and maiden special weight. Then you got claiming races with a condition. In other words, non-winners are 2 lifetime, the letter B, letter Y, letter N, something. Just, it's a non-winners of type of condition, XXX, whatever. Just any kind of condition attached to the claiming price is called a conditional claimer. Then you get your bottom and low-level claiming races, which at most tracks are 5 to 10,000, with the exception of, you know, Santa Anita, Churchill Downs, and New York. Your low-level claimers are a little higher than that, a little bit higher than maybe 12,000, 16,000. But you know, most of your tracks, 5 to 10,000 is your $5 to $10,000 claimers. That's basically what that is. Then you got all races run over the turf, regardless of class level. And then you got, which is the video we're going to look at today, turf race. And then you got all races run over a wet track. Now, all of these conditions or races considered to be hard to handicap. The betting public is frequently wrong, and that opens the door for a possible overlay on a true contender. And in this situation, number 3, Dr. Rico, top pick in the race. Let me read you the particulars here. 20 to 1 morning line. Our true odds 2.5 to 1. Going off at 40 to 1 near post time. Value odds. Turf. We're looking at a turf race, so class, best class TL rating. Class is important in turf, but more than that, 2 icons that I really want to emphasize with you are best total pace. I love the top pick in any race with the best total pace, and the total pace, our total pace, takes into account middle and late stages of the race. So that's another thing that's important in turf racing. Also, this horse has the best final time rating on the turf of the entire field. Now, obviously, that race did not come within the last couple of races, and that's why the betting public didn't want to touch this horse. Okay, because they saw here ran dead last time out, and you know, horses are never going to run their best races every race, and they're not going to run, you know, their worst race in every race. If they're going to remain in racing, they're going to have periods of highs and lows, just like life in general, the ebb and flow, like the ocean, the high tide, low tide. Well, it's not any different here with horses. They're going to have highs and lows. Now, 10th out of 10, dead last time out, shipping down from Saratoga, in which something happened in the race, did not finish that race. Previous to that, dead last over the all-weather surface at Presque Isle Downs. Now, that's pretty much what the betting public looked at, and they all drew a line through this horse. No way. Okay, first of all, situations, by the time the gate opens in racing, there's so many things that can go wrong. Let me go back. Let me go 3 races back to the Presque Isle Downs race. Maybe just not everybody likes that track. Not every horse likes that track. It's all-weather surface, and some horses just don't like that. So forget about that. The fact is, this horse has already run a race on turf that, if repeated today, is the best of this field. Forget about the race at Saratoga. Obviously, you can explain some type of problem that happens in a race. There's things that happen. Jockeys fall off, horses trip, horses fall, horses get knocked back, shuffled back. There's a zillion things that happen. Okay, so then they ship down to Tampa. All right, is it that important that the first race that a horse races at when he ships to a new circuit way down south from Florida to New York, from New York to Florida? Don't you think? Okay, think like a trainer now. Don't you think that possibly some trainers or a lot of trainers give their horse one race over the track before they actually tighten the screws? I can tell you that probably more trainers do that than get them ready the first time in a new circuit. Some trainers do that, but I would say most trainers will give their horse a race and then tighten the screws and then put him in look for the race to drop him into a perfect class level. Okay? And that's what McCooey did here, the trainer. But the betting public is what have you done for me lately type of crowd. And that's why they let this horse, Dr. Rico, go off at 40-1. They, the majority of the betting public does not have the full card reports in front of them, so it might not have been, like for us, when we look at a race like this and we see, and we know how to read the reports, and we go, wow, best total class rating on the turf even, top pick. Best final time on the turf. Wow. Best class rating on the turf. Jeez, this is and then let's look at your purple boxes here. These are represent the 36 proven winning overlay angles. Okay, I'm going to show you just a couple of those real quick here. There on the Horse Racing Digest page right here is the free ebook. Click on that, and it takes you to the ebook, which explains in detail all 36. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Okay. All 36 on, in detail. And let me see here. We're looking for angle 29 and 30. I'm just going to show you something real quick. Okay. Dr. Rico qualifies for angle 29 with the horse that has the highest competitive purse level. Okay? What that means is when Dr. Rico ran competitively, his rating, his class of purse rating on those races was much higher. You see here I've highlighted a 393 and it's underlined by the program. As you can see, it's much the highest of any other horse. So that means that when this horse was competitive, it was at a much higher purse. Okay? So, I mean, is it worth, now this is gambling, so you have to say, is it worth 40-1 to take a chance on this horse returning to a good race today? Well, look at the second and third pick. 2-1, 3-1, and 2-1, around that range near post time. We're talking about a $16,000 turf race at Tampa Bay Downs. Anything can happen. Literally anything. Okay? So, we are talking about gambling, and it is a game of risk, albeit it is legal. Pari-mutuel wagering is legal in this country. It is a legal form of gambling, but it is gambling. That means it involves a risk, and that's why we focused on overlays, because that gives us an advantage in the odds. When we have horses like this that have proven that if they can run, one of their better races, that they can beat this field, isn't 40-1 worth the risk of the gamble? Think about that. Absolutely. Absolutely. But basically, you know, our job is to just interpret the report. We don't really have to get into the particulars of why. Who cares? I mean, obviously, I care because I'm the one that invented all this. But you, as the player, you don't have to know all this stuff. All you have to do is look and say, Dr. Rico's the top pick on the turf. That's a preferred race. Okay, that has my attention. Best total pace. Okay, that has my attention again, because I've mentioned that in so many videos. If you've watched any of the previous videos, you've heard me say it dozens of times, and if this is your first video, then now you've heard me say it. And then the final time in the turf is another one of the great angles for the turf. Okay, now I was on angle 29 and 30 from the proven angles, and I showed you that one. And then your total pace angle, middle and late stages is what that measures, and in a turf race, that's where all your running is done. Take note of horses who do not have, but are the top rating in the categories of, and one of them is turn time rating. And Dr. Rico, scratch the 11, by the way, that's why I have it marked out there. With that scratch, the also eligible, Dr. Rico has the best turn time rating of the field. So turn time rating, best turn time rating in a horse that has the best total pace. Absolute fantastic little mini mega angle. And also I noted here, this angle does very well in turf races, as well as dirt and synthetic. But I highlighted the turf condition there. You see all these positives now. Turn time rating, by the way, is the speed a horse runs around the final turn, how that's measured. And you can imagine in turf races how important that would be, because that's where all the running happens. All the running in turf racing is basically from the final turn and the stretch. That's where all the stuff is done. And you know, you usually have, if you've watched turf races before, you know that there's a whole bunch of them all bunched up at the end, and we're dealing with a game of inches. And this race is actually a very good example of that, because Dr. Rico did win by a nose, and there was a dead heat for third. So, I mean, they were all across. They were all across. But, sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes things go your way. But the thing is, Dr. Rico has the best total pace, which means he has the best rating in middle and late stages of the races he's run competitive in. He also has the best rating around the turn, and not every horse can handle the turns like some others. Some are better at handling the turn. Some are more athletic on handling the turn, especially the tight turns of turf racing, of turf courses. So you see how that also is such a big factor here. And like I said, we're being offered 40 to 1 on Dr. Rico. I mean, basically this is a no-brainer. For somebody like me who knows these reports, and for the members that have used the reports, all they have to do is look at the report, look at the odds, and say, early Christmas? Yeah, pretty sure that's what this is. You don't need to hit many of these big ones, and this turned out to be a big one, especially with the horses that finished third in a dead heat. So we caught everything twice, the way we play our strategy. So let me get to that now. Strategy. Okay, we've already discussed Dr. Rico, why he's 40 to 1, why he can win. Now, the next job, and really the only job we have to do, is to apply the wagering strategy that we have in all these videos. First thing is $10 to win on Dr. Rico. For the videos, I always go $10 to win. Your bet could be more, could be less, could be the only bet. Some players bet only to win and do very, very well. But if you're going to bet exotic wagers, make sure we get the win bet in first, because you definitely don't want to have a trifecta ticket that doesn't cash, and you have a 40 to 1 shot, and he wins, and you're stuck with Ugats in your hand. So, in case you don't know what Ugats means, it's basically nothing in Italian. So get the win bet in, and then move on to your exotic wagers if you have the bankroll. Next in line, exactas and daily doubles. I always wheel those with my key horse, so I'll take like a Dr. Rico. I'll take a 3-all exacta, and then I'll do a 3-all daily double. And then, of course, coming into this race would be an all-3 double, because I would look ahead. You know, maybe I'm in the 8th race that I'm looking at ahead, and I say, oh, it's a turf race. Oh, okay, that's a preferred race, and oh, the top pick has the best total pace at 20-1 morning line, and oh, final time on the turf. Oh. Okay, I think you follow what I'm saying there. Anyway, so you can do an all-3 and a 3-all double there. Now, next is the trifecta, and this is how we play it. We key the 3-horse on top single in the first position of trifecta. Second position of the trifecta is the 2, 1, 9, 7. That is the rest of the horses in Group A, which becomes 2, 1, 9, the 11 scratched. And the top horse in Group B, number 7, because of the scratch, becomes the top horse in Group B. The rest of Group A, top horse in Group B, all for third. Okay, and there's so many reasons why I go all for third, but this race was like, I hit really kind of a Christmas early. Dead heat for third, and so it means we got paid twice on everything. And on the superfecta too, because in your 10-cent super, you're going to do all for fourth in 10-cent super. And then you get your, okay, your pick 3s and pick 4s. Basically what you do is you're going to hook up your value odds horse like this, a special deal with all the things going. You know, when you see 20-1 morning line, you pretty much can be guaranteed you're going to get pretty good odds on that horse. If a horse is 8-1 or 10-1 morning line, there is a chance that horse will get bet down, which we don't like, by the way. But usually horses that are 15 and 20-1 morning line, it's a psychological thing with the players. A lot of players think that horses with such morning lines have no chance at all, so they don't even, you know. Yeah, but that's good for us that the majority of the betting public thinks that way. But I'm just telling you how the psychology of the game works as far as the numbers. So if you get a 20-1 shot, pretty much know you have an excellent chance of that horse going off at the odds that are going to make you happy. Okay. So you're gonna single your top pick, total pace, and all the other things, reasons why. Dr. Rico is your single, and then in the other 2 races of the pick 3, just play your Group A horses, and Group A, of course, is your top 4 picks in each race. Okay, and then your pick 4, if you're dealing with a pick 4, it's just one more race to bet your Group A horses in. Okay, and that's basically how we do it. That is our strategy. It doesn't change. This is video 399. And you know what? I thought the lucky video would be 400, but I'm not disappointed. This race ran exactly like most turf races run, with quite a few of them there, three across the line, and total pace takes into account from here to here, turn time rating around this area, and momentum to the finish. So do you see how that knows that Dr. Rico won? Okay. The fact that he had the best total pace and turn time was definitely a big reason on him being able to get his nose up. Most turf races are won by a nose, a neck, a head. Okay, so I mean, we're dealing with a game of inches. All right, 37.90-1, almost 38-1 was the final odds there. Now, like I said, we had a dead heat for third. The 7 finished second, so that means we hit our trifecta. And since there's a daily double and we have all for third, guess what? We get the trifecta twice and the superfecta twice. 77.80 on the Win Mutual. And let me get you to all the payoffs. Okay. Your $10 win bet returns you 389 bucks. Your exacta returns you 472. Your two trifectas, because of the dead heat, for $1, because we play it for $1, return 1,018.50, and the other one 1,772.60. The 10-cent supers paid $866.40 a piece, 48, excuse me. The daily doubles 415.60 and 1,032. Nice doubles. Pick 3, yep, we hit the pick 3 and the pick 4. Singling our Dr. Rico with the Group A horses in the other races. 1,300, that's $1,370.90 on $1 for the pick 3, and the pick 4 for $1, nice, $8,653. And that's the strategy we play in every one of these videos. This is video 399 on this page. Oh, let me go and give you the total. 16,856.56. Okay, that's a nice one. And that's how you make long-term profit in this game. You get it in chunks. Okay, you get chunks, and then you add the chunks up, and at the end of the year you've made a profit. You can't try to, well, a lot of players try to dribble $20 a race for 10 races. It just don't work that way. I mean, you know, I've experimented with everything that's any horse player has possibly ever thought of. I've experimented with it over the last 15 years, let's say, where my studies in the last 15 years have been very intense, but I've got over 30 years of doing this. But the last 15 years have been really, really intense. Full-time job for me, 15 hours a day. But I've tried everything, and the only way to make the long-term profit is in chunks like this. Now, I've got on here 399 videos on this page. It suggests a lot of them you will see the total pace icon, and I suggest you look at these videos more than once, 3 times. Oh, there's a big one at Tampa and Gulfstream. Final time turf there, total here. You'll see a lot of things that come up the same. You know why? It's called trends and patterns that work long term, and I'm not going to scroll down through 400 races with you, but I think you get the idea. Total pace again. I think you get the idea. And I've had a lot of people tell me that they've watched my videos the second time and the third time, and they've heard me say things that they didn't hear the first time, and they actually use that information to make bets and win bets with. Okay, so you know, if you can watch each video more than once, it will benefit you tremendously. Believe me. Like I said, the last 15 years has been intense research and study, and it's ongoing. I'm in my mid-40s, and I plan on living to about 80. So I'm pretty sure that I'm going to do this until I don't think I'll retire ever. So my research will continue. There is no reason why I should stop researching. I think a good scientist, or whatever you want to call it, always does his research, because you don't know what you don't know. Okay, and you do know what you do know, and the way that you know is through researching tremendous amounts of data split into different studies that you can compare from one to the next, and that's how you find stuff like the horse with the best total pace, the horse with the best final time on the turf, etc., etc. That's how you figure all that stuff out. All right? Very good video. Thank you very much for viewing. And as always, good luck with all your wagers.